for just a minute. This is going to be a short one, so I don't know if I have any too many guests on or not. If you're a person that really wants to be a guest, I'll probably make some room for you, but yeah, we're just talking. Now, Diversity and Dragons will be live tonight in about 45 minutes. I've already got my notice clicked so that when they go live, the game will tell me so that I can be there and be all like, cool, what's going on? Why? Because I like Diversity and Dragons a lot. And I honestly don't understand why anybody wouldn't. But hey, to each their own, right? Right now, I'm just looking for a big ass sword, guys. Cut me a break real quick. I know this is super unprofessional, but your boy is looking for a big ass sword. And I'm hoping I can find it, but I don't know. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to do something really stupid. So let's not do that. Let's put that right there. Yeah, I'm doing a weapon swap on a Hell Knight. And I basically need a gigantic sized sword to give you. But unfortunately, I don't know where I put all of the. Oh, is it in here? It is. Oh man, awesome. A while back, I bought the. Actually, I didn't buy. My wife bought. So I always tell people this channel is financed by my wife. My wife bought me all of these Reaper sword packs, right? And since I am looking for a sword fit for a demonic warrior, let's see what kind of horrible stuff they have. I seem to remember there was a sword in here that was entirely made out of bones. So that would be kind of cool. Like the sword was all slivered up and everything. Happy Wednesday. What's up, Leth? Not going to be on very long, bro. So, just bullshitting around before I go watch Diversity and Dragons do his thing. I mean, if you really want to join, though, I'll throw the link out. But I'm just saying, we got about another couple minutes of this, and then it will be done. See, this ain't a bad sword, but it's not what I want, This sword is kind of wicked looking. Also, I kind of like this axe because the haft of the axe is made out of like a human spine. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty rough, My mic pulled the BS where it wanted to turn itself off. I don't know what's up with that. So, looking around. Jose, if he watches this video at all, you could just paint your mechs like the solid, like desert colors and stuff like that. And that way they're not actually part of any particular like legion. Because I know you're talking about you don't want to be like clapped into any particular unit. Well, there you go. Just paint them standard OD green or, desert colors, whatever it is. And then you're good to go. Made in the shade with lemonade and all of that. Because this mace is badass too, though. I don't know. Do I want to give this guy a big freaking rockin' mace? Let's put that aside while I decide. It's a nice axe, but it's a great axe, and he's got a shield. So, should I put some butterfly wings on him? Nah, that would be weird. This is for the BattleTech guys that watch my channel occasionally. This is how I make woods, because I don't really play on the hex, even though I've mounted it on the hex for like Alpha Strike and stuff. This is a light forest. No, this is a heavy forest. You can tell because there's 3 trees on the hex. And basically what I do is I use green felt, and light felt is light forest and dark felt is heavy forest. And then I just put the trees on it, so it looks cool when you're looking at it. And then as the mechs move through the forest, you can just move the trees out of the way, you know, so that it actually looks like you've got this big mech, you know, stomping through the forest. And that is, in my opinion, pretty awesome, you know, pretty much like just what you want, right? So I guess this is what we're looking at, because I got a couple of mechs here. I should make a video of me painting mechs in like a really neutral, non whatever way, so that, you know, maybe it will inspire Jose to be like, yeah, I can paint these mechs however I want, because you can. Just because you want to say a mech is of one particular house or another, they all paint their mechs in camouflage to suit whatever world they're fighting on. So, you know, they might be, you know, Merrick Militia, which, you know, would their dress, hey, what's up, Shark? Their dress mech colors are, of course, purple, right? But if they know they're fighting on a world that's, you know, 99% tundra, a frozen world, then they will paint their mechs up. Oh, yeah. And I guess recently it was the 25th anniversary of the Marine Corps. So, Simplify and grats to all of the Marine bros out there on the 25th anniversary of your branch, which I think it might be the second oldest branch. I think the Coast Guard might have actually been first. You know, I do know, because I used to study Civil War stuff, that U.S. Marines actually fought for the Union Army during the Civil War. That was the thing, you know, that actually went down. So pretty cool. I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff. Me, I like history, so, you know, I'm into that, you know. Like the Skeletor meme, right? Joke's on you, I'm into this shit. So, yeah, there was only like one brigade or battalion or whatever, but there were actual U.S. Marines in their pretty blue uniforms fighting for the Union during the Civil War. Something the Confederacy cannot claim, sadly. I mean, maybe if the Confederacy had had a few Marines, they would have won. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. So I just thought that was super interesting, because, you know, I love military history. So, and even though our branches like to, you know, talk shit about each other, we also love each other to death. Because I can say that as a Army soldier, yeah, you love knowing that there's Marines in the AO somewhere doing something. You know what I mean? Because it's just like cool, right? Yeah, we like our Marines. I mean, I think a big part of it is that your average Marine is the equivalent, really, of an Army Ranger, just about. So, You know, even though used to, I don't know if they changed it. I hope they do. Used to, their equipment always sucked. Hopefully they changed that. They were still a bunch of tough bastards. 1775 at the tavern. There you go. They're still a bunch of tough bastards. And when you're in the middle of a firefight, it turns out that's exactly the guys you want, right? The guys that when they get ambushed from on top of a hill, they just freaking charge the hill, which is what we do too. But Marines are really good at it. We will call in airstrikes and have our Bradleys support us and shit. Marines, man, they don't take any shit at all. As a matter of fact, my brother who runs the vampire game, he's ex-Marine or a Marine that's not currently on duty, because you know he says the whole once you've been in the Corps, you're in the Corps for the rest of your life. You are a Marine. And he was talking about running a version of Werewolf, the Apocalypse, but based on the Netflix Love, Death, and Robots, where all the players would be werewolves, but you would also be like enlisted in the Marine Corps, fighting in, like, I don't know, Afghanistan or wherever. I mean, if you've never seen that cartoon, that is an amazing. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to, you know, Netflix 9 times out of 10 is trash, but Love, Death, and Robots was pretty good. And anyone who tells you different is just not being honest with you. Yeah, but I am warning you, we got about 30 minutes. That's what I was telling everybody. I mean, I will invite you in, but I've already got my notification set to go watch Diversity and Dragons tonight. And so, you know, we're not going to have any really long, deep conversations, but I was just glazing the hell out of the Marine Corps because I love the Marines. Now, they didn't love me. When I walked into their office and was like, I'm thinking about becoming a Marine, they told me to think about something else and get out. And, you know, I'm not going to say it made me happy, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Oi, 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 oi. Ziggy zaggy, oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, do you remember that back when, what's his name was funny? Kimmel? The main show? Of course, he had Adam Carolla on there, and Adam Carolla is still funny.
Well, yes, that is true.
You know, and he had hot chicks jumping up and down on trampolines.
Girls on trampolines.
Yes. And I mean, it's hard to argue with that, no matter who you are. I mean, even lesbians want to see that.
Well, the thing is, you use it to make a point, right? Blah blah blah. Stupid point. Girls on trampolines. Your point stands, sir. Your point stands. Yeah.
So, Not Your Echo, one of my favorite Europeans. So what's this I hear about European press printing articles stating, yes, the United States is now the enemy of Europe? I'm sure they have hundreds and hundreds of papers, just like we do. And I'm sure maybe in your version of the Inquirer or the Daily Sun or, you know, one of those papers where they're always talking about the Bat Boy or whatever, somebody might have said that, but I wouldn't worry about it. They're just mad that we're not doing what they want to do with Ukraine. They're pretty pissed off about that. But when Keir Starmer went to Poland and tried to talk him into back in that play, Poland was like, yeah, get fucked. We're not doing any of that. So they might just be mad. I mean, those guys have been crying since J.D. Vance went over there and told them to stop censoring their own citizens. They took that personally. That is so weird.
And yet the citizenry loved it.
Yeah, of course, the citizenry, they're tired of going to jail for posting spicy memes, you know?
How fucking stupid.
And then CNN is having an interview with actual German prosecutors who are talking about how it's against the law to insult somebody.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That was fucked up.
And you get even more trouble if you do it on the internet because it stays.
Yeah.
It's like, and then that one crazy woman saying the rise of the NSDP was because they weaponized free speech. And it was like, I don't think you know history, because the first thing the brown shirts did is start whipping the shit out of anybody who disagreed.
Yeah.
That was their whole gig. It was like, oh, you don't agree? We're going to beat your ass and crush all the windows out of your storefront. And, you know, if you don't agree, we're going to mistreat you horribly. But leave it to some American dingbat to try and say, we need to ban free speech to stop.
Just like in America
Yahtzees.
and in Canada and in South America and in Africa and in Europe and Asia, there are some damn fine people with brains in their heads.
Yep.
And then there's a lot of idiots whose mouths open constantly. Nothing intelligent spews out, but they're pretty, so people put them places to talk.
Yeah. I mean, the modern American news media, and I mean all of it, so don't think I'm trying to be like biased in some way, is basically propaganda.
Oh, yeah.
If you turn your TV on and you watch, whether it's MSNBC, Fox News, whoever it is, if it's on television, it's propaganda. And generally speaking, it's propaganda in support of the mega corporations that are trying to sell you something. Yeah. I mean, they'll occasionally talk shit about politics or something, but it all comes back to, you know, hey, welcome to the 6 o'clock news presented for you by Pfizer.
Well, that was the thing, right?
You know, it's like
COVID. You'd have CNN doing all these endless talks about how dangerous COVID was and how COVID was going to kill everybody. And then they'd cut to the commercial break. You know, this segment brought to you by Pfizer. Huh.
Yeah, apparently RFK the other day released a bunch of paperwork talking about how COVID was never really a threat. And, you know, it had less than like a 0 point something % chance of killing an average healthy person.
But it fucked up the entire world's economy?
Yeah, but we effed up the entire world's economy and ruined our children for a generation at least. Plus, got all these people to take this crazy shot, which killed people. I mean, at least one person I know who was 26 years old, he got shot, and 4 days later or 5 days later, he dropped dead of a massive coronary. Hey,
Jose's here. Yeah, at the same time,
I mean, that's not normal.
They're also admitting finally that long COVID is a what they're calling it, vaccine incident.
Oh, and then, of course, make it where, and I think Trump might have even did this, so boo on him for this, but make it where you can't even sue them for the injury they do you. You know, it's like, hey, we're going to give you medications that may kill you for a flu that chances are will never kill you, and you can't do anything about it. And also during that whole time, remember, you couldn't even talk about it. If you mentioned COVID on a YouTube video, you were done.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you were talking like pro, oh, hey, make sure to get your shots. It didn't matter. You talked about it, you were done. And that's how Europe is now. And they're mad because JD Vance told them stop being that way.
To answer your question, not your echo, no. No.
Oh, yeah. Them saying
our economy might get a little bit better if Poilievre's conservatives win, but, you know, you guys need to understand we're not Americans. We don't vote for a leader. We vote for our local representative in the House of Commons, our member of Parliament. And then, Jose, Jesus, dude, really? Really? I'm trying to explain some fucking Westminster politics, and you're like, Battletech! Wah! You are like OCD, brother. OCD. Go ahead.
But let's
No,
let
no,
Bear
that's-
finish because I
No,
was.
No, let's finish.
Go ahead, Battletech, please. I insist.
No,
Yeah,
we're not
let's-
doing Baltech.
No.
No,
Go on,
Jose.
go on.
But I am
I
going to
insist.
paint. I'm going to make a video
I
of
insist.
me painting this whammer just to show Jose how you can paint a Baltech in a neutral color so that it's not any particular house. It's just painted up, you know, in like, I might do this chocolate chip, which was Desert Storm camouflage. But it could be any house because the mech pilots paint their mechs to suit the terrain they fight on.
Yeah.
Just like anyone would. But now that I got that Baltech out of my system,
Go on.
so you vote for basically a congressman that goes to your parliament and argues with people.
So we have a Westminster parliamentary system, which means we have a House of Commons. We do not have a House of Lords because we don't have lords in Canada, right? So we only have the House of Commons. So what happens is I vote in my local election.
Right.
Whoever wins my local election becomes the MP for this riding, okay? And then they go to the House of Commons for their party. The party that gets the most seats, usually the leader of that party is declared prime minister. The party decides when they win who's going to be their prime minister. All right. Now, it's not going to happen, but it could happen that, you know, the Conservatives win and they go, we don't want Polyev. We're going to put Bob Jones over here as prime minister. It could happen, and it's legal, and there's nothing anyone could do about it. But it's not. They don't do it that.
Does your government make coalition governments where like
it has happened, but not official coalitions? They tend to do like, you know, agreements because it's happened sometimes. But everyone's pretty sure the Conservatives are going to get a majority for their first swing at the bat here. And we're going to have Conservatives for about 10 years. And then the Liberals will make a comeback for 10 years. And then we'll have the Conservatives again for 10 years because that's how Canadians roll.
Cool. But at least you got Bob Evans and good donuts.
We got interesting stuff to say the least, but I'm hoping for the election. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to. I don't care. If a fucking zombie dog was made prime minister. Anything to get rid of Trudeau.
Yeah, that guy.
Hey, we're gonna run a bucket of fish as the leader of the fuck you party. You got my vote. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it is.
Yeah. The Mad Looney Party.
Oh my God, I'm in.
It's like that was a party in England, but then the guy who was the leader of it ended up deleting himself.
Funny that, eh? The Mad Cow Party.
He was.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to give
like the Mad Looney Party or something.
That I don't know.
And the whole point of is a while back, like 20 years back. But the whole point of their party is like the leader was clinically insane.
Hey, can I correct Shark's racism since he's being racist, but he's getting it racially wrong? We won't be speaking Hindi. We'll be speaking Punjabi. Get it right. No, Punjabi. We have the largest Punjabi community outside of India in Canada. We have more Punjabi than we have than England does.
So and Punjabi, you know, if I'm correct, is like Sikh.
Mostly Sikh. Yeah, it's going to be mostly Sikh. And you know what? God bless him. Let him run the country. Why not? You know what I mean? Well, everybody's like afraid of AI. I'm like, you know what? AI can't do a worse job than the humans have been doing at this point. So God bless him. Let the AI have a shot. I'm good. You know?
Well, AI is a joke anyway because it's not like the AI is actually thinking. It's just that it has access to all the information we have, and it can access it super fast.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's sitting there being like, damn, I don't like tomatoes, you know?
I did a whole video on how AI is not what you think AI is and how I call them smart tools, because that's what they are. They're smart tools. Mm-hmm. They're not artificial intelligence, but people are so fucking dumb and uneducated in this world. They just call it fucking AI, and they think it's like fucking. If I see one more Terminator meme, here's John Connor looking at you making friends with AI. Oh, for fuck's sake, people! Like, just stop, you fucking idiots! You know, like, what happened to us, man? We used to be smarter each successive generation of humanity. We knew more. We were more educated. We thought better. We had an opener mind. And now we look back and we realize, no. We're like 2 generations deep in being the stupidest humans this planet has ever seen.
Well, I know what RFK would say. I don't know if you'd agree, but I know what he would say.
What would he say?
He would say poisons and chemicals in our food that are specifically designed to make us dumb.
And poisons and broadcasts coming over these fucking airwaves that are designed to keep us stupid and misinformed.
Well, yeah, you and I talked about this. When I was a little kid, the news came on like 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have the morning report for like an hour, and they'd tell you about traffic and whatever. Then at noon, you might have the midday thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever it was, you'd have like an hour long of, Cronkite or whoever.
It was 6 p.m. So it was basically you had your morning news, you had your 6 p.m. news, and then you had your 11 o'clock news.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then on Friday nights after 11 o'clock news, you had Benny Hill reruns. And my grandpa would let me stay up and watch those sometimes. Because Benny Hill was a comedic genius. And I don't know if there's ever been another one. I mean, I'm still Norm as the funniest guy in the world. But Benny Hill was pretty damn funny. You know, that guy barely spent any of the money he made. He lived in like a little apartment, and just, he was a really humble guy in real life.
He was a proper Canadian. He's like, listen, I got enough money. I want a nice apartment. I got a nice apartment. I got a good car. That's all I need. The rest of the money's in the bank. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good Canadian.
Yeah. He just was not extravagant.
Yeah.
Let's see. But as far as Europe saying America's their enemy, they can say whatever they want. The fact is, no, we will not be going to war with Europe. That's just silly. And no, they won't invade us because they can't.
Seriously.
So what you basically have is a bunch of people who got dick hurt over JD Vance running their mouths. No one cares.
And more importantly, it's coming. Keep this shit up in the Ukraine, and America is going to leave NATO. It's going to happen.
We already left one part of it.
Yep. And I can see, like, under the Trump regime, I can see him literally just going, you know what? Fuck NATO, I'm out.
Yeah, we pay 80% of the cost of NATO.
And then when Europe has its next war, and they're all sitting on their continent for the 3rd time, crying to the world to come save them from their own stupidity, sadly, Canada will go because we're idiots, but you guys won't.
Well, part of Canada go. The parts that have decided to join us won't.
Yeah, well,
that
won't happen.
Alberta, Saskatchewan.
That's not going to happen.
Realistically, no. But I was watching a Canadian talking about the other day saying there are a couple provinces where people are not opposed to this.
As I've said before, James, here's how it works. Canada falls apart. Boom. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and PEI asked to join the United States, but they want to be 3 states. They don't want to be 1 state. They want to be 3. And that's the only way they'll take the deal, right? Okay. So you pick up 3 states right there. Newfoundland, Labrador says, fuck it. We were a country before World War II. We're a country again. Fuck all y'all. We don't need your bullshit. We got ports, we got oil, we got everything we need. Fuck y'all.
We speak Quebec, language no one else can understand.
Yeah. So, Quebec will never join America in a bajillion years. Quebec wants nothing to do with America.
Because of their French national heritage.
Well, not even that. They just hate fucking America.
Right.
Ontario will cry and whine with a piece of Manitoba and maybe the territories and try and pretend they're still Canada. Saskatchewan and Alberta will happily become American states. Overnight, they'll become American states. And then British Columbia will probably just become its own country.
Well, it's got ports, it's got trade, it's got beautiful
resources, it's got everything it needs to be its own fucking country with its largest trading partner in the world, China.
Yep. I do not disagree with your assessment, my good man. But it's not going to happen. Even though I was just talking to this person from Greenland, and they're like, Trump will never get Greenland. And I just posted back and said, you know what? I'm not trying to be a dick, but it seems like Trump keeps doing things people say he'll never do.
Well, what is the national debt of Denmark? That's the only question you need to ask yourself.
Yeah, how much money pay Denmark dollars?
And if debt, let's go for fun. Let's see what the hand. National debt of Denmark. The national debt of Denmark is 144.5 billion US dollars. So Trump rolls up and he says, "Okay, boys, I give you $300 billion for Greenland." Denmark might sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
But
the other thing
we
is,
could be at
there
a
are
camp
actually
tomorrow.
parties in Denmark, or not Denmark, in Greenland that want to join the U.S.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it going to happen? No, probably not. But I think I'm going to say this, and yes, everybody knows I voted Trump. He is like the best troll in the world.
Oh, he's
I
king
think
troll.
sometimes he says shit just because he knows it's going to make people lose their damn minds.
Oh, yeah.
And then he laughs about it. And you want to talk about the most like open president? I mean, that dude is constantly talking to the media. It's like he won't shut up. You know, he'll have 50 guys in the Oval Office asking questions with Elon standing there in a tech support shirt. You know, it's like, and it's like, I have to say, I'm afraid they're going to end up murdering him because, you know, the CIA got busted, you know, with some pretty scandalous shit. But until that time happens, it seems like he is having the time of his life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's having a good time for sure. He's like,
he's the first president I ever saw that did 4 years, and at the end of 4 years didn't look 20 years older.
well, I mean, you know, we could assume a lot of stuff for that. I mean, he is married to Melania. That's got to keep a man young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, apparently, she's like a super health food junkie.
Yeah,
And
but he still
occasionally
loves
she
Big
tries
Macs
to make
and
him
Diet
be a
Coke.
health food junkie, even though he supposedly lives off of like Diet Cokes and freaking Big Macs all day, every day. He's like, damn, on the crayon border. Yeah, I mean, if we drop out of NATO, then all of a sudden, like clockwork, you know, Germany's going to invade France. Even though they're in the EU together, they'll still do it just because they can't help themselves. It's
So
like
they're
every time the
stronger than
Germans
dogs.
look across the border at France, they're like, we want to go there.
Well, and that's again, it's the same reason I keep saying England invaded France so many times. Have you seen English women when they get older?
Yeah.
Have you seen German women when they get older? Have you seen French women when they get older?
Yeah, German women are weird. They're, like I said, I'm not trying to be mean to any of the Germans in the audience, but their women are either like Oktoberfest, super hot, you know,
shows.
yeah, or they're Hilda and they're built like a freaking brick shit house and they look like they would beat you up. You know, it's like Jose dropped, his internet's acting up again.
Yeah.
And that's just the thing, you know, you see, it's like you got St. Pauli's girl for sure, but then you've got Merkel. And it's like, yeah, those are both coming out of the same genetic stock.
Yeah.
St. Pauli girl and Merkel. So I don't know. And handle your business however you need to, but you know,
Jose's back.
Jose's good. Let me do something real quick. Internet issues.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, somebody
out.
said Jose's screen looks like he's sitting in a game store.
Yeah, no, it looks like he's about to give us a clue to continue the quest.
Right?
I'm sorry for interrupting. Okay, guys, sorry.
No.
Really.
No, I think it was Shark or somebody was saying you look like you're literally sitting in a game store. You know, you got the stock behind you. You're just ready to go.
Yeah,
British
game
women
store
love going to Jamaica for vacations with just their group of girlfriends. Yeah, if I were a British guy and my girlfriend was like, "We're going on vacation to Jamaica," and it's a girls only thing, I'd be like, "Yeah, we're done.
Yeah, we're done. Enjoy your trip. You're single when you get back.
Enjoy your trip. I know what you're doing." I mean, Have a good time.
Lay all the pipe you can while you're there.
No hate.
Done.
If that's what you want to do, you do it. But I'm not going to be sitting here like some kind of idiot waiting for you to get back.
Yeah.
I actually broke up with a girl that I really, really cared for because she joined the Navy.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I cared for her a lot. And she wanted me to marry her. But then she joined the Navy and got a job working on F-16s, which meant she was going to be put on an aircraft carrier, right? 100%. And I was like, nope, because she is going to divorce me and get ran through by 100 dudes. I'll go ahead and just avoid that shit. And I did. And that is what happened. So, yeah, Shark, I don't need every Marine on the USS Enterprise, taking a turn at my wife. I'm not having it. Sorry. I mean, I love the Marines. I was going off on how much I love the Marines, but I don't love them that much. And we all know that's what would happen. And then she got married, and then she got divorced from the guy she married, and she ended up marrying a pilot. But that I can't blame her. I mean, fighter pilot, that is pretty sexy,
My uncle, when I was a teenager, he said to me something that stuck with me all my life. He said, "You need to understand something." I said, "What's that, Uncle Peter?" He said, "Women are whores." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "They're all whores. Every single woman you ever meet is a whore." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "My wife's a whore. My daughter's a whore. My mother was a whore. Your mother was a whore." Like, he just went down the list of women. And I'm like, "Why do you say that?" He goes, "No, they're all whores. But it's all based on the opportunities they have available to them, how much of a whore they're going to be." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Now I sort of see what you're getting at." And then I said this. I said, "What about nuns?" He goes, "Do you know how many lesbians there are in a convent?" I was just like, "All right, we're good." that's
I do know way back in the day, like, they used to have convents that were like men and women were in.
Yeah.
And they were always having problems with nuns turning up pregnant.
Funny that, eh?
And it was almost always a priest.
Funny that, eh?
So it's like, it turned out that in the Dark Ages, a lot of these monasteries were just straight up party houses, because they were just drinking wine and banging all the time.
Drinking brandy and banging nuns, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing, and it's just like,
huh?
Yeah, Shark, I know it's true. That's why I was like, no, I love you. We get along great. I would marry you and have 8 kids with you. But if you're going into the Navy, no, because by the time you come back, you're going to look like an Arby's roast beef sandwich or something. And I don't need that.
No.
Plus, the other problem is, if you date a woman with a big body count, no matter how good you think you are or how big you think your junk is, she slept with somebody who was better and bigger. And she'll be thinking of that person occasionally. And that's why women who slept with 50 men never stay married, because how can they? You can never compete with the men they've already been with.
It's not just that, though. Within 2 to 3 lovers, women destroy their ability to pair bond.
Yeah. And you're just not going to compete with them.
Yeah.
That's all it is, And because the rule, there's always some out there bigger and better than you at whatever.
Well, big is a stupid thing. Big is a men thing. Yeah. Because women don't give a fuck, honestly, unless they're like doing the hot girl summer whore bullshit where they've been convinced by hip hop and Megan Thee Stallion that this shit matters. 99% of women don't give a fuck about the size of your dick as long as it works. And if you ask women later in life what they're like they did surveys, what's the perfect size dick, the answer they tend to get is my husband's. That's the answer they get.
That's a good answer. I mean?
It's the mentality that the woman will be, the husband dick, the one that she married is the one that she will be comfortable with. But I had a buddy of mine in high school was a black guy, And we were taking a shower after a sports thing one time, and he walked out, and Jesus Christ, this motherfucker's dick was like, hanging down to the middle of his thigh. And we were like, holy fuck, because we were kids. We were 15 years old, We're like, oh my God, you must get all the bitches. He's like, no, they don't want this in them. I take off my pants and they just go, fuck no, that's not going in me. And it's like, oh my God, really?
Yeah, I was going to mention that. A lot of women, if it's too big, they're like, no, thank you, sir. You can keep that.
I'm not interested
in having my
cervix stabbed tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, because they know you're going to destroy them. They're going to be ruined. They don't want it. Now, the biggest I ever saw was a white, skinny Canadian that I worked with.
Do you have a big nose?
No.
You might not know. Hair. Big nose, like one of those, like a big nose. Doesn't matter Jewish, not Jewish. Big nose, strong indicator. And you'll look at their fingers. You'll see how long their hands are. Strong indicator of a big dick.
This guy lived in Canada.
Yeah.
Would come down to Florida. Would work 6 months every shift. He would just pick up shifts for people and work shifts. So he would work 6 months straight at the fire department, sleeping and eating at the fire department. Then he would cash in all those shift changes he had done and take 6 months off and go back to Canada.
Okay.
And the chiefs eventually got mad and said he couldn't do that anymore. And then they started putting like rules where you had to live within 100 miles of the station, blah, blah, blah. But we have like military showers there. I mean, they have stalls because we have females, but he had the worst tendency of just walking out of the stall, no towel, wandering around the bathroom, and people just being like, Jesus, put that thing up. What are you doing? It's scaring people. And he'd just be like, yeah, I think he was from like the Maritimes because he had that thick freaking, boyo accent, and all that, using all these weird words and shit.
Jesus, what do you feed that? Blondes, redheads? What the fuck?
But that's just was his deal. He would 100%. He would literally work 6 months in a row.
Good for him, man.
Running calls so that he could have 6 months off in Canada.
Good for him.
Yeah.
There was a time when we weren't so uptight.
He retired and died. But he retired and like literally 6 months later died of a massive coronary. Which didn't make sense because he was really skinny.
Well.
But I mean, it does make sense statistically because they'll tell you in Fire Academy, most firefighters that retire die within 5 years.
Really?
Yep, that is apparently a statistic that Fire Academy tells you is true.
I wonder why that is.
I think it's effing around with all the chemicals and shit that we F around with all the time. And just eventually, also what they die of, if it's not cardiac related, is like weird cancers, like brain cancer and kidney, basically all of the filtration organ cancers. And again, it's because, you try not to get that shit on you, but when you get out of the fire, which of course smoke from a modern house fire is poisonous, it's just full of poisons, right? You take your glove off, you take your other glove off, that's bare skin. And then you start taking your bunker gear off and it's bare skin. Yeah. And you're sweating like hell. So you're absorbing that shit through your hands. And our station was extra stupid because the rack where we hung our bunker gear was right next to where the engine was parked. So every time the engine was started, the exhaust flooded out all over the bunker gear.
No.
But they changed it now, and all the bunker gear is kept in a positive pressure room, so nothing can get into. But back when I started, when we were riding like 3 guys on an engine and 2 guys on a rescue, and when you went to a fire, one of the guys on a rescue had to jump to the engine to do the 4th man's job because we didn't have a 4th man. It was freaking the Wild West. You know what I mean? Now, somebody told on them, and they had to fix it all, But very career-oriented people often die soon after retirement. They lose purpose. True. But I am the only guy who got retired out. No, me and Zolkowski, we're still alive, even though we got retired out. Miguel's still alive, but he hasn't been out 5 years yet. But everyone else I know, yeah, they died within 5 years. And it was always like Dave Thomas, who was our battalion chief. And, we always, the Wendy's thing, but, Chief Thomas, he retired and died a month later.
Wow.
Of some crazy cancer that apparently he knew he had for like 6 months.
Wow.
So, it's just the way it is, man. But anyway, now that I've depressed you all.
Yes, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. For those of you who like Diversity in Dragons, it is on. And for those of you who don't, I'll
be running OSC starting in an hour.
Memoir, Metro 33, or Roadside Picnic. They're both on Audible, very cheap.
Or come watch my live OSC game starting in an hour.
Ooh, nice, an OSC game. I might have to switch back and forth, or put one on the laptop and one on the TV. But anyway, peace and love, guys. Thanks for dropping in, and I will catch you later.